Alright, so where to begin? Well, I guess this started when I died, and I had to restart my playthrough, and I thought, why not upload it for, you know, general interest, for posterity's sake. Uh, and I guess to explain what I mean by that, I had started a Permadeath Master Mode playthrough of Oblivion Remastered, and I was just doing it for my own personal interest. I had done some challenges like this in Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, and I actually had started doing a similar Skyrim run before the news of the shadow drop of Oblivion Remastered came out. So I then pivoted to working on doing this playthrough, and yeah, I had originally just thought I'd play it and that would be that, and my saves would be the only testament to my playthrough. Not that they show any information about how many times you died, but I didn't really think about recording it. Actually, I did think about recording it a bit at the beginning, but I decided that I didn't know how well it would run, and I hadn't recorded much, and I didn't know how much I would talk in these, and so I ultimately decided I'm going to jump around to level up my skills while I talk because it's a more efficient use of time. So I decided, well, okay, first I died. I died a few times in the tutorial on my first character, and that was a pretty short restart. That was more just remembering what Oblivion was like, and you don't have, too much to work with fighting those goblins in the beginning, and on Master Mode they kill you quick, particularly if you're fighting 1v2 and you don't have any summons starting the way I did. So I died a few times there, but made it out of the sewers. I think I died 4 times. And then after that, I didn't die for 80 hours. As I'll show here in my save files. This is actually save 450, but I'm only level 2. That's because a bit back here, this is where I restarted. Yeah, so I was level 35 with actually 90 hours in the game. I died right here, actually. I played it for a bit longer after I died, and then before deciding to restart and do this recording. And yeah, I died being a dumbass. I was nearly invincible. There's almost no way I could have died normally. Yeah, the gear that I had was, I'll explain what gear I'm going to try and get, and basically how to beat Master Mode. The kind of game plan, how to beat it without dying. Not just beat it, I will also say I'm doing it 100%. 100% of simultaneously completable quests, and 100% of locations visited, and then like a few other things like doing the DLC as well, and buying all the houses. But I think you have to buy every house for a quest, or each house is a quest. And yeah, and a few other things like that. 100 in every skill. I'm not gonna necessarily go for 100 in every one of the attributes because luck would just be annoying as fuck to do. So I probably just settle for 100 in strength, intelligence, willpower, agility, speed, endurance, and personality. But then 100 in every major skill. So that sort of thing. I'm probably not gonna do 100 of everything that you see recorded in this. For instance, there is some... Oh yeah, also 100% of Oblivion Gates cleared, so all 60 Oblivion Gates shut, so I will do that. I'll probably buy all horses and houses, and I'm not going to invest in every store, just because one store in particular is annoying to invest in if you're doing an important quest to do as early as possible for this run. Not really as early as possible once you hit level 25, which some people might know. It's the quest that gives you the Escutcheon of Coral, which has 35% reflect damage, which is really important to have. So not going to do that. Skill books read, I'm also not going to do because of the fact that if I have 100 in every skill already, I'm not going to spend time to just find skill books that have no amount of meaningful progression. So might as well, you know, might as well do things that I actually care about. Artifacts found, you have to do all the Daedric quests anyway, so that's redundant. I'm gonna turn into vampire because you have to do the cure of vampirism quest at some point. And then Nirn roots. I'm gonna get enough Nirn roots for the quest, and I'm not gonna do all 300, plus Nirn roots. That's just kind of mindlessly running around at the very end of the game, looking at a map, checking that I have found this one and that one and that one. So probably not gonna do that. So 100% of quest completions, 100% of locations found, 100 in all skills, all the Oblivion gates shut, which should also net me the highest fame that you can have. Yeah, so pretty much all of the meaningful content done in one playthrough on the hardest difficulty without dying. So that is sort of the objective. And it's the objective I had for my last playthrough as well. There's a few other, I guess, minor details that I'll mention as I progress through the playthrough, but that is the idea. Let me take off my helmet for a second so I can take a look at this. This is my character. His name's Giggle Unleashed. I think I'll probably upload this on my YouTube, which also has the handle of Giggle, G-I-G-H-L. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah, I think that's pretty much the overview of everything. So as you can see, I'm a few hours in the game already. I've basically just left the sewers and then walked up to the Imperial City and have just been messing around, trying to get as much gold as I can, get as much, everything as I can. One thing to note along with that is that I won't do any duplication exploits. Mainly because I don't think you really need them, because there's ways of making money kind of within the normal framework of the game that are pretty easy, and in fact that's mainly what I'm going to do. That's probably the next step is to go make a ton of money and gain a bunch of levels in alchemy. And I'll tell you why on the way there. But yeah, I think that's most everything I wanted to cover. Yeah, I guess now... Yeah, oh yeah, I guess the point I was leading into was that I'm not going to do a lot of exploits or glitches. In fact, I want to do almost none. The only exploity, glitchy thing, I don't know what it would be considered by most people, but the only thing that I'm going to do is, and in fact I've already done it, is for sneak and lock picking, for security rather. The security, there's a pretty well-known bug where you can level it up really fast by spamming unlock on an empty slot of a, I can show right here. This guard doesn't see me. You can do this, scroll over here, keep clicking spacebar, and you can hear I just leveled up. So I've already done that quite a bit. I don't think it makes a huge difference in the grand scheme of things. I'm not going to save load too often, but there are definitely a few instances where I'll save load. So definitely no combat save loading is the big thing. I'm not allowed to save load to get out of combat, or if I accidentally aggro the guards or something, I can't save load to get out of that. But yeah, otherwise I think the other one that was like lockpicking or security, the easy way to boost the skill is to go pickpocket the prisoner by forcing the guard AI to close the door on himself, which I did and leveled up a little bit. So I might do those two things, but other than that, and the last thing that people might consider exploity or buggy or whatever, is save loading the transcendent sigil stones, or just the sigil stones in general. I don't think this necessarily is a thing I have to do. I think it just makes it easier to get essentially one piece. I think at some point I'll need one or two transcendent sigil stones that have the 25% shield, either the 20% shield or the 25% elemental shield, which are also, it's just weirdly better than the 20% shield because it gives you more shield and it also gives you elemental resistance. Not that I'll need it, as I'll have full magic immunity by that point. But yeah, so those are the three things that I'll say up front that I am going to do, that are, I guess, somewhat exploity, that I will allow myself to level up the lockpick. I don't think I'm going to spam it anymore. I've already got it to 75, and now lockpicking even very hard locks is pretty easy, and so I'm not going to worry too much about that. I might do it to get to 100, because at some point I'm going to have to jump from level 2 or 3 all the way up to level 25, which, you know, I'll talk more about, I guess, when I get closer to that. So right now I'm just kind of giving this overview and running around. I don't know how much I'll talk, you know, when I'm actually running around and doing things, mainly just to point things out. I think oftentimes it's better to...
Greetings, Breton.
It's oftentimes better to just, you know, talk about it when I'm actually there. So right now I'm just running around, leveling up conjuration and athletics and acrobatics, because it's important to get those things pretty high pretty quickly. Particularly conjuration. Conjuration and poisons will be the main thing I use in the early game. But anyway, I think that's mainly the overview. And yeah, I don't know if I'll talk the entire time that I'm playing. Certainly not like this directly to, you know, people out there, but I figured I'd give kind of an intro, an overview, and then we would see where that goes. And yeah, and then I think I'll just record the rest of it, and then maybe say a few things when something interesting happens, or when I feel compelled to divulge my plan, which, you know, will probably happen here soon. But okay, that's, I think, enough for the intro recording. This is Giggle Unleashed, ready to take on all of Oblivion. And yeah, I think it should be fun. Also gonna save my game here for some reason.